Have you ever thought how great it would be if you had a tutor available, let's say at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday? It never gets tired and it never loses patience with you. It answers every question instantly. Sounds like a perfect educator, a dream for convenience, but we have to ask ourselves, what's the cost? The dream of convenience is rapidly becoming a nightmare for privacy and critical thought. We're seeing a massive, rapid adoption of AI in our classrooms. Algorithms are now grading papers, generating lesson plans, and even tracking student eye movements to measure engagement. This is happening fast, and it's happening largely without regulation. I'm here to talk about the human element for student safety against the unchecked integration of technology. First, we have to look at how these algorithms unfairly target and divide our student populations. We often think of computers as neutral, but they are only as neutral as the data that they're fed. We have biases. There's algorithm biases. AI models are trained on the internet, a place rife with historical racism, sexism, and classism. When we feed that data into an educational tool, we get something called baked in prejudice. According to Green Santos in a 2024 article for the National Education Association, AI generative tools often hallucinate or stereotype because they lack cultural context. For example, AI detection software tools used to catch cheaters often flag non native English speakers at significantly higher rates than native speakers simply because their sentence structures look different to the machine. Consider the statistics regarding facial recognition technology, which is often used in remote proctoring software to watch students take tests. Studies have shown that while these systems have an error rate of less than 1% for lighter skinned men, that error rate can skyrocket to the nearly 35% for darker skinned women. This isn't just a glitch, it's an automated discrimination that can lock a student out of a test simply because of how they look. Furthermore, this technology widens the gap between the rich and the poor. Advanced, personalized AI tutors cost money. Wealthy districts will purchase premium, ad free learning tools. Meanwhile, underfunded districts will likely rely on the free versions, the ones that rely on heavy data surveillance and advertising to keep the lights on. We aren't leveraging the playing field. We're building a fast lane for the privileged and a surveillance state for the disconnected. Beyond unfair advantages, we must consider the safety of the sensitive information these systems collect. When a student interacts with an AI platform, they are treated as a data point. These systems collect biometrics, behavioral patterns, and even data on learning disabilities. The terrifying part? This data is rarely owned by the school. It's owned by the third party tech giants. Minors cannot meaningfully consent to this. We are putting black box algorithms in front of children, and parents have no way of knowing exactly what is being tracked. This creates a permanent digital footprint. If an AI system records that a third grader is struggling with a behavioral issue or a learning disability, that data is stored. We have to consider the profit motive. Education records are highly valuable. If we aren't careful, student data won't be used to improve grades. It will be sold for targeted advertising. We're effectively monetizing our children's learning struggles. Even if we could solve the privacy issues and fix the bias, we face the internal threat: what AI does to the developing brain. There's a concept in psychology called cognitive offloading. As researchers Risco and Gilbert noted in their 2016 study on the topic, this is the phenomenon where we use physical action, like writing something down, or external tools to reduce the cognitive demand on our brains. While some offloading is good, AI encourages us to outsource the entire process of thought. Students aren't just using AI to check grammar, they're using it to summarize, synthesize, and create. This leads to the atrophy of critical thinking muscles, and it creates an illusion of competence. A student sees a generated essay and thinks, I understand this. But when forced to apply that knowledge without the bot, they fail. Deep learning requires productive struggle, that moment of frustration where your brain actually builds new connections. AI removes the struggle, and in doing so, removes the learning. We've argued in this speech education introduces dangerous baked in biases, creates massive privacy vulnerabilities that exploit children, and fosters an intellectual laziness that undermines the very purpose of school. The opposing argument, from what I hear, is the efficacy of AI simply not worth the cost of our students' privacy, equity, and cognitive development. The teacher who never sleeps is watching too closely and thinking too much for us. The nightmare isn't the technology. The nightmare is realizing we gave away our agency just to make homework a little easier.